My name is Guy Kawasaki. I am the managing director of an early-stage venture capital firm called Garage Technology Ventures. However, I'm not really here today to talk to you about venture capital. I'm here to talk to you about entrepreneurship and startups. A little bit about my background. I worked for Apple twice in my life. From 1983 to 1987, I was Apple's software evangelist. And I also worked from 1995 to 1997 when I was Apple's chief evangelist. My job essentially was to make sure that there was a lot of software for Macintosh. And I worked for Steve Jobs in the Mac division that first time. It was a very, very interesting experience. For those of you who know people from Apple, I don't think you'll find this surprising, but I consider the Macintosh division the largest collection of egomaniacs in the history of Silicon Valley. And that's saying a lot in this valley. We worked for Steve. We had very special treatment, unlimited supplies of Odwalla juice at $2 a bottle. On Thursdays and Fridays, we had massage therapists come into our cubicles and give us back rubs. Unlike any other part of Apple Computer, a Macintosh division employee could fly first class for any flight over 2 hours. My definition of the 2 hours begins at the moment you leave your apartment, so I flew first class everywhere for years. You know, back then the company was divided into product divisions. There was the Apple II division, which made all the money, and the Macintosh division, which spent all the money. And the Apple II division, we really treated them lousy. I regret that, because of our arrogance, because of our NIH attitude. And so the Apple II division people weren't even allowed in the Macintosh division building. Now, arguably, they paid for the building, but they were not allowed into the building. And because of this, the Apple II division people came up with a great joke about the Mac division people, which is, how many Macintosh division employees does it take to screw in a light bulb? The answer is 1. The Macintosh division employee holds up the light bulb and expects the universe to revolve around him. How many of you use Macintoshes in this room? A lot of oppressed people, huh? So, I'll tell you, is Microsoft a sponsor of this conference?
Yes.
Well, they won't be. The Microsoft version of this joke is, how many Microsoft employees does it take to screw in a light bulb? The answer is none, because Bill Gates has declared darkness the new standard. Early in my career, I sat through many keynote speeches at Comdex, at Macworld Expo. I saw many, many high-tech CEOs speak. And I have to tell you, one thing I noticed is that they pretty much sucked as speakers. And the second thing that I figured out sitting in these audiences of sucky keynotes was that if there's anything worse than a CEO who sucks as a speaker, it's a CEO who sucks as a speaker, and you have no idea how much longer he or she will suck. And so I have adopted the top 10 format for all my speeches. This way, if you think I suck, at least you can track progress through my speech. I hope you don't think I suck, but at least you can track progress. So I'm going to use the top 10. This speech is loosely based on a book I wrote called The Art of the Start. And I don't know what's on. Has the slides been up? Yeah? Oh, okay. So I'm going to give you my top 10 pieces of advice about the art of the start, about entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. I'll be the first to admit, when you're a keynote speaker and an author, you tend to start believing your own bullshit and thinking that you did everything right in your career, and you want the audience to perceive you as omnipotent and omniscient, and look at all the things that I did. I never made a mistake in my career, and that's a lot of crap. I made a lot of mistakes in my career. This book reflects what I should have done, what I could have done, sometimes what I did do. But generally speaking, I would like to pass on what I learned, in many cases the hard way, to you, a group of entrepreneurs. And I hope that you can take this information and change the world. Okay? So, thank you. The first thing that I learned is that if you want to change the world, if you truly want to be a successful entrepreneur, the best reason to start a company is to make meaning, is to change the world. I think you can make meaning in fundamentally 3 ways. The first is to increase the quality of life. That's what the Macintosh division was all about. We wanted to make people more creative and more productive. The second way is to right a wrong. We thought that MS-DOS was immoral. It was wrong. It was a crime against humanity. And we had to fix that wrong. And the third thing that you can do to make meaning is to prevent the end of something good. Now, as a venture capitalist, I'll tell you that we meet many times with entrepreneurs, and they come in and they think they're saying what we want to hear, which is, we want to make money. We believe that with our P2P optimized Google AdWord revenue model, collecting millions of eyeballs, that we can quickly flip this company and sell it to Google or Yahoo or Apple or Microsoft. If they don't take us off the market in 18 months, then it's no problem. We'll go public. And when we hear that, it's just so depressing. It's so disappointing, because I figured out that the companies that are successful, they start out to make meaning, not to make money. So one tip for you, for those of you who are pitching VCs, talk about how you'll make meaning, because the theory goes, if you make meaning, you will make money. But if you start out to solely make money, you will attract the wrong kind of employees. Typically, when you say you're going to make money, you will attract MBAs and consultants. And there are no two worse kind of people for a startup than MBAs and consultants. The second point is to make a mantra for your organization. Because there are too many MBAs in the world, and I have an MBA, because there are too many MBAs and too many of you have worked for Bain or McKinsey or Arthur D. Little, somehow you think that you should make a mission statement. And the way you make a mission statement is typically this. You go on a 2-day off-site with the executive team. The executive team, the first day of this off-site, you're outdoors. You're at the Ritz-Carlton Half Moon Bay, for example. Because that's why you go on these off-sites. So you go to the Ritz-Carlton Half Moon Bay, and there's a facilitator. And the first day, you create these cross-functional teams, and the facilitator says, all right, one of you from each team, come to the front. Everybody else, get behind him or her. Turn around, shut your eyes, open up your arms, and fall backwards into their arms, because we're going to build trust. You're going to learn that your teammates are there for you. So turn around, shut your eyes, spread your arms, and fall backwards. So after one day of this bullshit, the second day is you're out in a small room. There's a bunch of white papers, those tablets of papers, and there's a facilitator who knows nothing about your industry. And that facilitator is going to help you craft this mission statement. And this mission statement is going to be good for the shareholders, for the employees, for the customers. If HR is there, it's going to be good for the whales and the dolphins. It's going to take care of everything. And what happens is you get a mission statement like this. The mission of Wendy's is to deliver superior quality products and services for our customers and communities through leadership, innovation, and partnerships. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Wendy's. I have 4 children. By definition, I like Wendy's. Okay? But I have to tell you, in all the times that I've eaten at Wendy's, it has never occurred to me that I am participating in something involving leadership, innovation, and partnerships. I dare say that if you ask Trixie or Biff, working at Wendy's, what is the mission statement of Wendy's, not one could repeat this. I also dare say that not even the founder of Wendy's, Dave Thomas, could repeat this. I know that's not true because he's dead. This is a useless kind of statement. It's too long, it's not unique, it's not memorable. As an entrepreneur, someday when you have 15,000 employees, you're trading on NASDAQ, and you spend $2 million to build your annual report, fine, make a dumbass mission statement like this. But right now in the entrepreneurial stage, I submit to you, you should create a mantra, 3 or 4 words, a mantra. Of all audiences, not to be racist, you should understand what a mantra is. So, let's have some mantras here. The mantra of Wendy's should be healthy, fast food. In 3 words, Wendy's could explain to every employee and every customer what we stand for. Healthy, fast food. Admittedly, there was a woman here who thought she'd change Wendy's mantra to healthy finger food. But in the long run, it's healthy, fast food. FedEx has airplanes, they have vans, they have an incredible IT infrastructure. FedEx can tell you that your package is on the left side of the van, on the 3rd shelf from the bottom, traveling southwest on Highway 101 at 65 miles an hour in the 3rd lane from the right. That's what FedEx can tell you. But all of that technology and all that infrastructure is for peace of mind. That's what that company stands for, when you absolutely, positively want something, someplace. Third example, Nike. Great customer slogan, just do it. But a mantra is for the employees. Why do you work here? Why do you exist? Authentic, athletic performance. That's why Nike exists. And my favorite example is Target. Or where I'm from in Atherton, we call it Target. Because Target is not Price Club. You go to Price Club to buy 500 rolls of toilet paper in case there's a nuclear war and you can't get to the store for a few months. You go to Target to democratize design, to buy something of great design at an economical price. These are 4 companies, very successful. These are the kinds of mantras I want you to create for your organizations. Mantras, not mission statements. Now, I also want you to have the easiest, cheapest, and most expedient way to create a mission statement. Because someday it may come to that. God bless you. Just remember me when you go public, all right? Now there's such a thing as friends and family stock again. So, I will tell you how to get a great mission statement at no cost, no off-site, no McKinsey, no nothing, no facilitator, nothing, no pads of paper, magic marker, pens, nothing. You don't even have to look at advertising. Just go to the Dilbert Mission Statement Generator website. Because there, for absolutely no charge, you can get a great mission statement, a $25,000 mission statement like this. We exist to professionally build long-term, high-impact sources. I need to take a breath here. So that we may endeavor to synergistically leverage existing effective deliverables to stay competitive in tomorrow's world. Is that a mission statement or what? Huh? 25 grand. The third thing is to get going. Ironically, many entrepreneurs have a difficult time getting going because they want to be sure there's a market. They want to prove there's a market. They want to do focus groups, research, and all that crap. Tell you what, just get going. 3 key steps to getting going. First, as the Apple commercial said, think different. Don't do better sameness. Don't be content with doing things 10 or 15% better. Do things 10 times better. Let's go back in the printing business a few decades. Let's say you were the best letter quality printer company. And you decide one day you're going to be revolutionary. You're going to change the world. You're going to introduce 18-point Helvetica. Changing the world. That's not changing the world. A printer company, a letter quality printer company, would not be content with introducing more typefaces. A letter quality printer company would jump to the laser printer curve. That's what you need to do. When Jeff Bezos created Amazon, he didn't go from 250,000 titles in an analog bookstore to 275,000 titles in an analog bookstore. He went to 2.5 million titles in a digital bookstore. Think different. Second point, don't be afraid of polarizing people. Great products polarize people. If you try to create a product that appeals to everybody, 18 to 25, 25 to 35, 35 to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to dead, if you try to create this perfect product, you will create mediocrity. Do not be afraid to polarize. This is a picture of a Toyota Scion XB. You can have one of 2 reactions to this car. Either you think it's a very cool design, or you think, why did Toyota hire somebody who got fired from Volvo? Those are the only 2 conclusions. Harley Davidson, Macintosh, Netflix, TiVo, all those companies polarize people. I love TiVo because I love TV. There are advertisers who hate TiVo because I haven't watched an ad since Super Bowl Sunday. The third point of getting going is to find a few soulmates. The concept of the solo entrepreneur is vastly overrated and untrue. Steve Jobs had Steve Wozniak. You know, Bill Gates had Steve Ballmer. You need soulmates. You need people to balance you off. If you're a great engineer, you need a great marketer. If you have the great marketing and engineering, you may need an operations person. If you're the youthful visionary, you'll need adult supervision. Balance yourself off. Balance yourself off. The 3 key points of getting going. The fourth point is define a business model. This is a step we all sort of forgot a few years ago. A minor detail. 3 key points to a business model. First, be specific. The business models that say we'll collect 10 million eyeballs and somehow we'll figure out how to monetize those eyeballs. Don't worry about it. That doesn't fly anymore. The reason why we've all heard about Facebook and MySpace is not because we can all do that. That's because they're unusual. We need to have specific business models. The questions you need to ask yourself metaphorically is, who is my customer? How do I get my money out of her purse? It is your money in her purse. How do you get it out? That's the question. The second key point is you need to keep it simple. You know, I hope you innovate on technology, on products, on services, all that good stuff. Do not innovate on business models. Do not. If you believe that it costs you $1 and you sell it for $5 and your gross margin is 20%, you will be successful. That's the kind of math. Costs $1, think about this later. Costs $1, sells for $5, we only have 20% gross margin. You will always be rich. Keep it simple. The third thing is to ask women about your business model. I believe you should not waste your time asking men about business models and business ideas. I believe this is because men have a fundamental genetic flaw. We all have the killer gene. Men want to kill things. We want to kill plants. We want to kill animals. We want to kill other companies and products. To a large degree, this killer gene has been suppressed by society. One place it hasn't been suppressed in is entrepreneurship. It is socially acceptable to want to kill the competition. Thus, when you ask a man, should I start a company to kill Oracle, to kill Google, to kill Microsoft, all men always say, yes, that's a great idea. Women do not have this fundamental genetic flaw. So when you come up with an idea for a business model, ask women. Do not waste your time asking men. The fifth thing, I have to tell you, I'm whipping through this because I usually have an hour for this speech. And this is Mountain Dew, and I didn't even get paid to endorse this. The fifth thing is to weave a MAT. MAT stands for milestones, assumptions, and tasks. I happen to love ice hockey. And there are two of my friends here from Ice Oasis where I play ice hockey in Redwood City. And one of the pleasures of ice hockey is to be the first person on the ice after the Zamboni. Because after the Zamboni has shaved the ice is just pure, smooth, virgin ice. No cuts, no ruts. It's a beautiful thing. And when you skate, you can see exactly where you're skated. It's a lovely feeling. It's like being the first person down the mountain and skiing or snowboarding. A new company is largely like that. It's a pure sheet of wonderful, smooth ice. There's no pain in the ass customers who are trying to get a free upgrade. There's no stupid employees you made a mistake hiring. There's not the crappy commercial real estate that you paid $15 a month for in the height of the dot-com phenomena. There's not the crappy furniture you bought at Office Depot one day. It's pure, wonderful ice. It's not the crappy logo that your sister-in-law designed for free. You're starting from scratch. It's beautiful, beautiful. The Zamboni just left the ice. When you have that situation, it's very difficult to prioritize. This is about prioritization. The first thing you need to do is come up with a handful of milestones. Milestones are things like finishing the design, shipping the software. When you're starting a company, you often think, my God, we could either finish the design today or go order stationery. Seems like they're both about the same importance. It's not true. A milestone is something that you would call up your spouse and say, honey, today we shipped. That's very different than calling up your spouse and saying, honey, today we ordered stationery. That's not quite the same. The next thing you do is you write down the assumptions of your company. How many sales calls can you make per day? What's the customer ROI? How much does it cost to install our software or product? These assumptions change your business model. Very few companies or startups write them down and test them. Write them down and test them. And the third thing is then to do tasks. The tasks are the things that help you either accomplish a milestone or test an assumption. But the priority for an entrepreneur is milestones, assumptions, and tasks. M-A-T. The sixth thing is to niche thyself. How many of you have MBAs in this audience? That's too bad. I will teach you all you need to know about marketing in one slide. You don't need to know anything else about marketing if you understand this next slide. Okay, this is the holy grail of marketing. I have saved you $25,000 in mission statement creation. Now I'm going to save you $100,000 in MBA. There are two axes on this graph. The vertical axis is your ability to provide a unique product or service. The horizontal axis is the value of that product or service to the customer. As you might suspect, this is going to be a 2x2 matrix. And I'll take the suspense away. We're going to end up high and to the right. Surprise, surprise. Let's go through the other corners first. In one corner, where you have great value to the customer, but you're not doing something unique, there you will always compete on price. Not such a bad place to be. At least you're creating something of great value. But you'll be competing on price. Dell made a lot of money here. It's a margin pressure business. The second place is where you create something of no value to the customer. Luckily, you're the only person doing it. There, you're just stupid. You are just plain stupid. Only you're doing this stupid thing. The next corner is even worse. That's the .com corner, because in that corner, not only are you producing something of no value to the customer, there are 16 other companies that VCs have funded to do the same stupid thing. This is a picture of dog food. Because I don't know about you, but remember when there were like 16 ways to buy dog food online? Every one of them, curve jumping, paradigm shifting, patent pending, SQL-based, Google AdWord optimized, P2P thing. Geez, just buy dog food online. There's only one problem with pets.com, mypets.com, epets.com, ipets.com, lastminutepets.com, induspets.com, you name it. There's only one problem. Yes, you could disintermediate. Maybe that was Julie Wainwright. Yes, you could disintermediate the stupid pet food store that had this analog presence, brick and mortar. There's only one problem. Sure, by taking this store out of the equation and being a digital store, you could reduce prices. The problem with it is that dog food weighs so damn much that the shipping and handling of the dog food costs more than the discount you could give. Hence, it had no value. That's the .com corner. The corner you want to be in is over here. It's high and to the right. It's where you have a unique product, and only you can do this product, and it is of great value to the customer. My example is Fandango. Fandango is an online movie ticket buying service. As I told you, I have 4 children. We love to go to movies. And you know, when we go to the opening show of Mission Impossible, we need to know before we go that we have a ticket. Because when you put 4 kids in a minivan, that takes 20 minutes. You don't want to get to the theater and see there's a line and it's sold out. You want to know before you go. Fandango enables you to print the ticket at home. High value. And in Northern California anyway, the only way you can get this ticket is Fandango. So I'm telling you, this is the holy grail of marketing. Every entrepreneur should understand this. If you're an engineer, you need to create the product that is unique and of great value to customers. If you're the marketing person, you need to be able to convince your customer that this is true. You need to be high and to the right. Yesterday, you heard Arnold Schwarzenegger talk, political speaker. I'll give you a political analogy. You want to be successful as an entrepreneur? From a marketing perspective, you need to be like our president, George W. Bush, high and to the right. Seventh thing. The seventh thing is you need to follow what I call the 10-20-30 rule. I have this thing called Meniere's disease. Meniere's disease has 3 symptoms: hearing loss, tinnitus, which is a constant ringing in my ear, and sometimes I get dizzy or vertigo from this inner ear affliction. Medical science has tried to figure this disease out. They think it may be too much salt in your diet, too much retention, too much caffeine. That's why I don't drink too much Mountain Dew. Too much stress, allergies. There's a bunch of theoretical medical reasons. I've tried to cure it with all of these, controlling all those factors. I will tell you, though, I have another theory about what causes Meniere's disease. I am a venture capitalist. By definition, it means that I have to listen to pitches day in and day out. And day in and day out, entrepreneurs come to me and they pitch me, and they have 60 slides in a pitch. And in that 60 slides, they're convincing me that all they need is 1% of the market, that they have first mover advantage, that they have patents pending, that they have a unique, proven team with a proven technology in a proven market. Every one of them, whether it's for shrimp farming, fabless semiconductor, social networks, every one of them says that. And because I have to listen to such crap, I have a ringing in my head. I'm going deaf and I get dizzy. So before there's an epidemic of Meniere's disease in the venture capital industry, I came up with the 10-20-30 rule. This is the 10-20-30 rule. You should have 10 slides in your PowerPoint pitch. 10, not 50. I don't care if you have curve jumping, paradigm shifting, P2P, Google AdWords, social network, optimized, SQL-based way to sell dog food online. 10 slides. That's all we can handle. Those 10 slides you should be able to give in 20 minutes. You may have a 1-hour meeting, but you're using a Windows laptop. It's going to take you 40 minutes to make it work with the projector. All right? 20 minutes. And the smallest font you should use is 30 points. You see 20, 14, and 12. You should use 30 points for 2 reasons. First, the kind of people you're pitching to looks like that. The second reason is by having a 30-point font, you can put a lot less text. This forces you to actually know your presentation and just put the core of the text on your slide. If you need to put 8 points or 10 points fonts up there, it's because you don't know your material. If you start reading your material because you don't know your material, the audience is very quickly going to figure out that you are a bozo. They're going to say to themselves, this bozo is reading his slides. I can read faster than this bozo can speak. I will just read ahead. If you don't buy that 30 points is the right font size, I will give you an algorithm. Give you an algorithm. Find out who the oldest person is in the audience, divide his or her age by 2. That's your optimal font size. Okay? Unless you're pitching to 16-year-olds, don't use the 8-point font. The 8th thing is to hire infected people. Hiring infected people means that you hire people who not only have work experience, educational background, but love your product. Most people only consider 2 factors: work experience, educational background. I suggest you consider a third. Are they infected with the love of the product? This means you need to ignore the irrelevant. Sometimes it's irrelevant that they have this background. Sometimes it's irrelevant that they don't have this background. There are 2 diamond rings in this picture. This is because I come from the jewelry business. I have never taken a computer class in my life. I am living proof that you can fool some of the people most of the time. So, ignore the irrelevant. I never took a computer class. I was in the jewelry business when Apple recruited me. Can you imagine the HR person who went to Steve and said, listen, let's hire this guy. He's down in LA. He's never taken a computer class in his life. He has a psych degree from Stanford, and that was the easiest major he could find at Stanford. He's been schlepping diamonds for the last 5 years. Why don't we make him evangelist for our new software platform? That's what they did. I was successful because I loved Macintosh. When I saw Macintosh, the clouds parted, angels started singing. It was a religious moment in my life. The second point is you need to hire better than yourself. A players do not hire A players. A players hire A plus players. B players hire C players. C players hire D players. And D players hire E players. If you start hiring B players, you're going to wake up one day and you'll be surrounded by Z players. That's what we call the bozo explosion. Fight the bozo explosion. The third point is you apply the shopping center test. The Stanford Shopping Center test works like this. You go to Stanford Shopping Center, you see a job candidate. The job candidate has not yet seen you. Let's say you're 50 feet away. At this point, you have several possible reactions. I can just go straight over there, say hello, hi, how are you? I'm glad you're interviewing. We're going to kick ass in our company. I hope you join our company. That's one reaction. Second reaction is Stanford Shopping Center isn't that big. If I get face-to-face with her, I'll say hello. Third reaction is I'm going to get in my car and drive to Valco. If you don't have the first reaction of seeing that person and saying, man, I got to go over there because I really like her, I liked him. If you don't have that reaction, don't hire the person. I know, you're running out of time.
More minutes.
What are you going to do? Not invite me back?
No.
So, all right? The next speaker is from Google. She has infinite money. What do you care? So, the ninth thing is you need to lower barriers to adoption. There are 3 key ways to lower the barriers to adoption. The first is to flatten the learning curve. The theory is that you plug your device in and it works. How many of you can change the time on a VCR? These are the liars in the audience. Nobody can change the time in a VCR. Flatten the learning curve. Second point is, don't ask people to do something that you yourself would not do. You know what? You may have a great website, great content, but you ask people to fill out 65 fields of personal information to get the free password. Aren't going to do that. The reason why there's laundry in this picture is because at the Kauai Hyatt Regency, there's a laundry room in every wing of the hotel. This means there's one less revenue-producing rental room. It means that people send out less laundry through the hotel laundry system. And if you went into that laundry room, you would see that the washers and dryers are free. That hotel is not asking you to do something that you yourself would not do. And the third point is to embrace your evangelists. These are the people who carry the battle forward for you. Evangelism is based on the Greek word of bringing the good news. So when you have a great product, there will be people who will bring the good news with your product. You need to pay them. They are people who want to change the world with your product or service. Embrace those people. Create programs for them. Open the kimono for those people. The 10th thing is to seed the clouds. This is about rainmaking and sales. 3 key points. First, to rip off Chairman Mao, although I don't see how he implemented this, let 100 flowers blossom. At the start of a revolution, at the start of your company, you may see people who are not your intended customer use your product in unintended ways. This makes many people freak out. My God, the wrong people are buying our products in large quantities. You know, we need to hire a new agency. We need to reposition our product because they're not the customer. For one thing, if you're an entrepreneur, the first lesson is when this happens, take the money. Take the money. Listen, Apple was supposed to have a spreadsheet database and word processing machine. It produced a desktop publishing machine by mistake. We didn't intend that. Desktop publishing saved Apple Computer. Aldous PageMaker was a gift from God to Apple Computer. And it saved Apple Computer. I believe in God. One of the reasons why I believe in God is there is no other explanation for Apple's continued survival. The second thing is you need to enable test drives to make sales. Let people take your product home, download it. Somehow you're saying to people, I think you're smart, and because I think you're smart, I'm going to enable you to test drive my product. The third way to break down the barrier is to find the true influencers. Many entrepreneurs believe that they need to work at the CXO level. I need to talk to the CIO, CTO, CMO, or CEO. I have found in my career that the higher you go in most large organizations, the thinner the air. The thinner the air, the more difficult it is to support intelligent life. So, as an entrepreneur, if you focus on CMO level people, CXO level people, you'll be dealing with the dumbest people. Look at tech support, secretary, administrative aides. Those people really do the work. They really are the key influencers. Find those people. And my 11th point, and I'm really going to go over time, I'm giving you a bonus to my friends at TIE. This is the 11th point. Don't let the bozos grind you down. They're going to try to grind you down. They're going to tell you it can't work, won't work. We don't need another search engine to Google. We don't need another search engine. Who thought we needed another search engine in 1995? I didn't. Don't let these bozos grind you down. There are 2 kinds of bozos. Slovenly, disgusting, stinky, nerdy, dandruff-covered loser of a person. That bozo says you can't succeed. It's easy to ignore that bozo. You look at that bozo, you say, why should I believe you? You're a loser. That's not the dangerous bozo. The dangerous bozo is skinny, dresses in black, drives a German car, Breitling watch, plays ice hockey, Macintosh PowerBook. You know, that's the dangerous bozo. That's the dangerous bozo. Because when that bozo tells you that you can't succeed, won't succeed, it's not necessary, you might be tempted to believe that bozo. Let me give you some documented bozosity to show you how dangerous bozosity is. I think there's a world market for maybe 5 computers. Thomas Watson, chairman of IBM, allegedly said this in 1943. 5 computers in the world. I have 5 computers in my house. I have all the computers Thomas Watson anticipated. This telephone has too many shortcomings to be seriously considered as a means of communication. The device is inherently of no value to us. Western Union, internal memo, 1876. What was Western Union going to do in 1877? Train everybody on the Morse code? But telephony had too many shortcomings. Western Union should be PayPal today. But how can you be PayPal today if you wrote off telephony? They wrote off telephony. There's no reason why anybody would want a computer in their home. Ken Olsen, founder of DEX, did this in 1977. How many have a computer in your house? I don't know why. Why don't you just drive down to the office and use Quicken on a mini computer? And then my final bozosity is my own bozosity. It's too far to drive, and I don't see how it can be a business. I said this to Michael Moritz from Sequoia Capital when he asked me, would you like to interview for the position of CEO of Yahoo? I told him this. At the time, my wife and I were married. Oh, obviously we're married, that's why she was my wife. My wife and I were living in San Francisco. We had one child, my son. My second son was in beta. In other words, she was pregnant. And I didn't want to drive from San Francisco to Menlo Park every day. It was like an hour each way. And I looked at what they were doing. It was a collection of Jerry Yang and David Filo's favorite websites. How can that be a business? Unproven team, unproven technology, unproven business model. Besides that, it was great. So I said this. Now, let's suppose I didn't say this. Let's suppose I took the interview. Let's further suppose I got the CEO job. Then let's be conservative. Let's say that I lasted only 2 years of a 4-year vesting period. Peter Principle kicked its ass, kicked my ass. 2 years into it, the board says, Guy, you've done a great job, but we now need real adult supervision. We need someone from New York or Los Angeles who's worked with big media, who can take Yahoo to the next step. So we're firing you today. And I would have said, I hope you understand, I'm not a bitter, litigious person, but I am Asian American. You cannot fire me. Right? You try to fire me. It's just like pulling me off stage. You try. Let me ask you something. If Schwarzenegger went 8 minutes over, would you pull him off stage?
Absolutely.
All right. And I guarantee you, I'm giving them more information than Schwarzenegger gave. So. Okay, so now they try to fire me. I tell them you can't fire me. This is California. I'm Asian American. You piss me off. There'll be little Japanese ladies picketing in front of Yahoo's offices. So now they go into executive session. They come back and they say, all right, Guy, you're right. Let's not make this a big brouhaha legal battle. What do you want? I'd say, well, I'm 2 years into my vesting. Just give me 4 years vesting and I'll walk away happy. By my calculation, this answer cost me $2 billion. Now, $2 billion here, $2 billion there. After a while, you don't need to work anymore, right? If I had done this today, I would own the San Jose Sharks. I would own the San Jose Sharks. So, I've been thinking about this for 10 years now. Why was I so stupid? And I'm thinking about it, and I've come to this conclusion. I did the right thing for the love of my wife, for being there when my 2 boys are growing up. Now I have 4 children, to be there, not working 80 hours a week, not commuting 2 hours a day. I did the right thing for my family. Right. This explains $1 billion. It's the second billion that pisses me off. Pardon all my French today. It's the second billion. The second billion because I was a bozo. I could not see. I had Ken Olsen disease. Ken Olsen, I don't know, he's really getting angry. Ken Olsen, what are you, Democrat? Ken Olsen couldn't see the next curve. I thought that Yahoo was part of the personal computer curve, not the next curve, the internet. I too was a bozo. Don't let the bozos go. They're really. Now it's 2 on 1. All right, so this is really my last slide. If you want more information like this, I have a blog, blog.gaikawasaki.com. If you want a copy of this presentation, it's Gina@garage.com. Just send her an email. We'll send you a PDF. If you can't open the PDF and you're on Windows, tough luck. And finally, my stock photography was my buddies from Calgary, iStock Photo, and I'm obviously being pulled off. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.